Ever wonder why the older we get, the harder it is to just laugh? Like really laugh? Let me guess. Wake up, check email, rush out the door, traffic jam. Get to the office, stare at a screen for 8 straight hours, trying so damn hard to look professional, polite, and proper. We force ourselves to be this perfect little cog in the social machine. For what? To trade it all for this invisible, soul-crushing burnout. In Jungian psychology, there's this thing called the persona, basically your social mask, and we wear it every single day. But here's the problem. You wear a mask long enough, you completely forget a basic human need: spontaneity, being playful. And that's exactly why. We are desperately missing a core archetype in our lives: the fool. Think about it. Modern society worships productivity and efficiency. Everyone's terrified of looking stupid, making mistakes, or getting embarrassed. But that exact fear, it's suffocating our creativity. The fool in history, in myths, he's not an idiot. Quite the opposite, actually. He's the only one who's truly free. Why? Because he's got absolutely nothing to lose, zero reputation to protect. The moment you dare to embrace your inner fool, you literally break yourself out of that prison called being an adult. Here's a crazy paradox. The people who think they're the smartest, sometimes they live the absolute most boring lives. Just look at all the experts on social media right now, the ones constantly using big fancy words talking about macro and microeconomics, lecturing everyone on how to live their lives. They're exactly like those theater critics the scholar Erasmus used to mock, sitting in the audience all day, nitpicking the actors' mistakes, ripping away the magic of the stage. But what they forget is, without those illusions, without that little bit of innocence, the whole play of life completely loses its joy. It's just like dating or marriage. I mean, what is the core of love, really? It's a little bit of blindness, a little bit of foolishness. You love someone, you automatically look past their minor flaws, and you think they're the greatest thing ever. That's folly, a healthy kind of foolishness. Because if you're constantly turning on your logical, analytical brain 24/7, measuring and calculating every single defect your partner has, well, congratulations, you're going to end up lonely forever. That's why Socrates, literally one of the greatest minds in human history, left us that classic line: I know one thing, that I know nothing. Admitting what you don't know, that's the absolute peak of wisdom. But the person who constantly thinks they know it all, that guy is the real fool. A tragic fool, locked away in a prison built by his own massive ego. But everything's got a dark side. And this right here is the juiciest part of psychology: the shadow of the fool. Ever heard of the sad clown paradox? I'm betting you've met someone like this before. They're always the life of the party, always cracking jokes, making everyone in the room lose their minds laughing. They seem completely happy, right? But the grim reality is, behind those loud laughs, there's usually a deep, dark hole of depression and loneliness. They use humor as a built-in defense mechanism. They'd rather play the fool, tear themselves down just to make other people happy, than face the raw pain, anger, or trauma that's eating away at them on the inside. And the second that defense mechanism snaps, the clown turns into a monster. Just look at the Joker in pop culture. Why does this guy have such a massive, cult-like hold on audiences? Because the Joker is the ultimate manifestation of the fool's repressed shadow. When a person gets pushed to the margins of society, chewed up and spit out until all their innocence is completely gone, they don't want to make you laugh anymore. They want to watch the world burn. The Joker is what happens when a fool loses his pure heart and warps into the trickster, a twisted, cynical entity that feeds on chaos and other people's suffering. The Germans actually have a perfect word for that specific vibe: Schadenfreude. It's a massive warning sign. Never push a fool into a corner, because the moment they shed that innocent skin, whatever's left over is going to be a living nightmare. Now, let's talk about the ultimate superpower of the fool, a privilege: Not even a king or a CEO could ever touch the right to speak the truth. Back in the day, you so much as whispered a disagreement to the king and bam off with your head. But the court jester? They got a free pass. They could literally mock the king and roast the entire royal court right in front of everybody, all under the guise of just joking. Why? Because, who's going to get offended by a fool, right? But deep down, everyone knew that the most bitter, brutally honest realities came straight out of that fool's mouth. Fast forward to 2026, and just look at how incredibly fake the world has gotten. At the office, a boss pitches a completely train wreck strategy, and everyone from the VP down to the lowliest intern just nods along like, "Wow, brilliant idea, boss." On social media, people are so terrified of getting blasted, so scared of cancel culture, that nobody dares to speak the obvious, uncomfortable truth anymore. We are literally living in a tribe of terrified people. And that is exactly when we need a fool. It's that brand new hire who doesn't know the unwritten rules yet, casually raising their hand and saying, this makes zero sense. It's those stand-up comedians who dare to drag taboo topics into the light and rip them apart. Honestly, there's a massive level of heroism there. The fool steps up and says the exact thing everyone else is thinking but is too scared to say out loud. It creates this instant psychological relief, a total catharsis for the crowd. So if you've got that one person in your friend group or your company who's just brutally honest to a fault, do not hate on them. They are the emergency brake keeping the whole group from driving right off the cliff of delusion. In the tarot deck, there's one card that stands out from all the rest. Card number 0, the Fool. The artwork shows this young guy, dressed in bright, flashy clothes, holding a flower, his eyes locked on the sky like he's totally lost in a daydream. He's just marching forward, full of pure optimism, completely oblivious to the fact that he's about to step right off a massive cliff. And right at his heels, there's this little dog barking its head off, trying to warn him. Most people look at this card and think, what an idiot, he's about to die and he's just smiling. But in Jungian psychology, this is actually the greatest symbol of the beginning. Think about it, what is 0? 0 isn't just nothing. 0 is infinite potential. It's a perfect closed circle, the starting point and the ultimate finish line of every single journey. To kick off any new adventure, what Joseph Campbell famously called the hero's journey, you absolutely must have the mindset of the fool. You have to dare to leap into the great unknown. Say you want to start a business, learn a totally new skill, or finally confess your feelings to that person you've been crushing on. Are you scared? Hell yeah, you are. Your logical brain is going to flood you with 100 different reasons to back out. What if I fail? I'm going to look so stupid, I can't pull this off. If you keep listening to that fear disguised as wisdom, you're going to stay stuck in your comfort zone forever. Only the fool inside you has the guts to say, screw it, let's see what happens. That raw recklessness, that innocence, that total disregard for the rules, that's the exact thing that gives you the courage to take those first steps. Sure, you might fall. You might get beat up a little, but guess what? That's the only way a toddler learns how to walk, and it's the only way a fool ever learns how to become a sage. We don't just wake up whole, we piece ourselves together, bit by allowing ourselves to play the amateur, to play the fool. So, my advice to you today? Stop trying to look so damn smart all the time. Every now and then, give yourself permission to be a little foolish. Dare to do the things everyone else calls crazy. Because, at the end of the day, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are usually the ones who do. Think about it. Is Elon Musk a complete madman or a genius? Personally, I think he's both. Thanks for watching DeepShift. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join us as we decode the next dark corner of the human psyche. Until next time, take care.